Draft boys.
Oh my God, his face is so cute.
Welcome back to Draft Boys, the OFBL Draft Podcast. As always, joined by Miles Hitter and myself, Whitey. Lads, how we doing?
We're doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm fired up.
I know. It was a good weekend, hey, football's like pretty interesting.
Yeah,
It
not
was.
great. Not great for my fantasy points, but for reviewing, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. It was
Yeah.
one of those ones where, like, you know, weird players kind of get the goals.
Yeah, all the fringe players actually performed, Like, I think in budget, the average was like 55 or something. And my missus got like 90 points because she's got a team full of just like fringe players. It's great.
Yeah. That's the ones you see, hey, like when they post up like so-and-so had like the best week and you look at their team, you're like, oh my God, how did everyone
Yeah.
score on that team?
And someone like triple captained, like someone really random.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like Saar.
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like, okay, you're from the future. You've definitely gone back in time.
That was my time traveling sound if you didn't figure that out.
So let's talk about the one-man team of Ronaldo, and let's talk about Tom's team. Hitos.
Tom's team.
Give us a bit of a rundown on how you went, mate.
I can do that. I guess it's not great. Yeah.
Ronnie though.
No,
Ronnie
yeah,
again.
Ronnie again, but no bonus, unfortunately, this week. And my play to go heavy with Wolves defenders backfired, resulting in 0 points from 3 players.
That's so rough, man.
Is that actually what happened? How hard did you back them?
Well, I got the keeper. I've got Marcel and Sace, but Sace got -1, so it cancels out. Marcel's one.
What did you do?
Oh,
What did you do to the fantasy gods, man? I have no
bro,
idea.
I obviously picked too many Wolves players. That's what I did.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty brutal though. I think you made logical decisions.
Yeah,
Me
look,
too,
I took the punt, and it is what it is. But we'll dive into that later. But that pretty much fucked me, and no one else did anything from my team.
Okay, well, I'll talk about mine then. Yeah, I had Martinez on the bench, but then Bachmann didn't play, so my life was saved there because that's 8 points there. I was not looking healthy. I got a total of 41 this week. Yeah, no
That
Reece
helped out big time,
James
yeah.
is brutal, but yeah, I got most of my points came from Tony. I got 12. He got a goal, assist, and all 3 bones.
Yeah.
And then
3 bones. I love that.
yeah, you like that. Aspilicueta got a clean sheet. That was more of my points, and Ings got an assist. So it was a lot of 2-pointers this week. And yeah, I had that Wolves defense too. I had Semedo. I thought I was a very smart cookie picking up Semedo, and not feeling that way anymore.
Yeah, he's been looking really good, especially the first 5 games of the season. So I was surprised that you guys didn't capitalize from those Wolf defenders.
I'm looking forward to getting into it when we talk about them. Hey.
Yeah. I'll run through my team quickly. I had a good week. I got 62. It was mainly just built on my defense though. Like I think I got about almost 36 or 38 points just from my defense.
Dude, rinse and repeat for you. Week in, week out, this defense is just hauling it in for you.
This is how I'm going to defend my title, boys, with my defense.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so I did a sneaky picked up of ASM, St. Maximum, and he got me a goal and
fuck that pickup,
of
man.
bones.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when you got it.
Look, I've been talking about it on the pod for the last few weeks, if you guys remember, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to back myself here, and I had a spare spot, and I thought it was a good fixture. Leeds, they're usually a little bit open at the back, and, no Wilson, maybe ASM gets it. And then, yeah, I got the goal in from Ben Rama and all 3 bones.
Oh, bones.
3 bones.
3 bones.
All 3 of the bones.
Love the bones.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right, frothing. Let's get into it, lads. Now, I think one of our favorite segments hasn't been quite the same since we've not been with each other. So for this week, I think we'll pass on Snack Chat, and I'm sure you boys all have something to enjoy. So we'll just
Yeah, I
crack
got a
one of
beverage.
those.
Let's crack that.
Fuck COVID.
Fuck you, COVID.
Man. Jesus.
And
Killing
hopefully,
our vibes here.
and hopefully we'll be back in person soon, and Snack Chat will be revived when we get
That's
back
it.
together. And I cannot wait.
Or expectations for that first one, boys.
It's going to be a big pod. That's going to be a
I'm
very
on
big
it.
pod.
I'm claiming first Snack Chat. I'm taking it.
Okay. All right. I'll allow it. Just make sure those drinks are strong.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ghetto classy on it.
Ghetto classy. Oh, I
Ooh.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
Do not forget that
Yeah.
you do not forget
Yeah.
that you said that.
No, I
It
already
could be in
know
like
what I'm
5
doing.
weeks.
Yeah, I know. I'm on it. I've got it.
All right. So instead of Snack Chat, we'll briefly talk about what was a new segment last week. We basically gave us just a straight group prediction for which fixtures we thought we'd get. Sorry, for which teams we thought would win or lose or draw. I'll run through those very quickly. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4 right. I'll go through the ones we got right because that won't take too long. Arsenal, we got right. We said they'd win. We said Liverpool would win. We said Watford would win, and we said Chelsea would win. The rest were fucked. We didn't.
Yeah.
Leeds obviously lost. Wolves
A
obviously
couple of
lost.
random results though. Like I don't think we should be too hard on ourselves. Like we should have had a given Man City result there. You know, the Wolves, they should have won. Not should have, but they could have. You know, like I think
And
we're a
Leicester
bit
too.
unlucky. And Leicester.
Yeah.
So
Look,
it's all good.
next time, if City actually performed, we'd get 50%. I'd be happy with 50% for the first one.
Yeah, it'd be like when I was at school again.
Mate, yeah.
What uni? Please get degrees.
Please get degrees, yeah. All right, lads. Well, speaking of P's get degrees, let's get into the game for this week. First one coming up, Chelsea versus City. Oh, boys, can we make it 4? Yeah.
I love when they put the big fixture as the early one in the evening, making it nice and easy for us to watch live.
It's the dream for an Australian, hey?
Yeah. So good.
Now, Chelsea won 3-0 against Tottenham, if you didn't know. And City drew 0-0 against Southampton. Crazy. All right.
Southampton just keep impressing, don't they? But yeah, let's get into Chelsea. Let's talk about a couple of key issues that I've been thinking about over the last few days. And that's their defense. I feel like I know that this game it's probably not relative, but Chelsea's defense has just like they've conceded 1 goal, and that's against Liverpool.
Yeah.
A penalty. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to happen this week because it is against City, even though I do believe that it's possible. But for the rest of the season, if Chelsea defenders are available, even people that are on rotation like Thiago Silva and possibly Christensen, even though he's played 4 out of 5, but I don't know what's going to happen when Reece James comes in. But and they're scoring goals as well.
I think we said it before. He's just using those defenders tactically, just like he's using the forwards, and he's rotating. He's managing that team really well, but
really well
in terms of the personalities, and I think that's going to affect fantasy in a way because I think he's using rotation as a way to kind of keep players happy, but also keep players on edge. So I think we will see rotation in the defensive line. I think probably at this point, the one I wouldn't want would be Chilwell. I think Chilwell owners have been completely stitched. But, Alonso, I mean, he's such a great asset this year. He's fucking in the box all the time. And we know that he is so capable of striking a ball. Like that fucking volley on the stretch was amazing.
Is that the one when he was like almost on the penalty spot? It was kind of center goal.
He's a bit left of it, and the ball comes over, and he kind of fires it straight at the keeper, like off the volley, like flying. It was crazy.
Yeah, not the goal line defense that Dyer saved from him, but it was just the one that he just nailed straight at Loris.
Oh,
Man.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but there was one where I was like, I couldn't believe where he was. His positioning. It was crazy.
Now, who
Extra
else?
forward.
Oh, we got to give our boy Kante a little shout out. He's not a fantasy asset, but do we love him? That was pretty funny at Tottenham's expense.
Was
So
unfortunate
classic.
for Tottenham.
I know. Sorry, boys, but that one was going in. And then, nice assist from Werner in that game with Rudiger with a tidy finish, bottom left.
Yeah, it
corner.
was, wasn't it? That was almost like just, striker-esque, being able to come back to run away from goal and finish that.
Dude, it was such a good finish, and that made him the 10th different scorer this season. So it's
That
funny.
was
I think
proper training. That was training ground day. Like
It
you
was
just
so
saw Rudiger
nice.
just wait for that cut back, and he just ran back, and he's there. I mean,
it was awesome. It was awesome. I was so impressed with the finish, and I think at this point, in terms of the points getters, it's Lukaku up front. Obviously, he's going to play pretty much every game, and he's the most likely to score. And then outside of that, the defense. I mean, we did talk about the fact they will be rotation, but it won't be as bad as I think their attackers.
as the midfielders, yeah.
And
for sure.
with this great stretch of fixtures coming up after City, I think Chelsea defense are going to be spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hey, just before, sorry to cut you off, mate.
yeah, no, go for
I
it.
just said, I was just going to say, just before we finish on Chelsea, just a quick question I got on Instagram. Werner, are we holding or are we just getting rid of him? Are we trying to trade him? Like, what are you guys thinking?
Oh fuck! I'd honestly see if you can trade him, but I don't know who's going to accept that trade. I think it's pretty obvious right now that it's going to be different every week. Like it just depends on the team we're playing and what style they want to do. Counter-attacking. If they're doing fast counter-attacking, then maybe I could see Werner playing against City.
He's only started one game though.
Yeah,
that was before Lukaku was there. I don't know. I think it's hard because these things always depend on your league size, who's available. So if you can just sit and hold on him and there's no one better out there, but if there's someone starting every week that you'd rather have in your starting 11,
jump on him.
Yeah.
Is he a forward or a mid?
He's a forward.
He's a forward. Yeah.
Tough. But there are forwards out there. There's new forwards too, and we'll get to talk about them this episode. We've got...
Look, I think if you drop him, your competitors probably won't be
jumping on
fighting over him. He might sit there for a little bit.
I think the only thing worth of note is the great run of fixtures that Chelsea will have when they come out of this bad run. And there may be a lot of points there to be had. It's just a question of will he get in the team? So
that's it. And I actually answered the question on Insta. I said, look, I'd just hold him until the end of this run of fixtures. And if it's still no good and he's your kind of second or probably third striker option, then just see what happens.
Chelsea may play very differently when they have to break teams down because they've had to play against good teams at this point. So those games are always different. So that's worth noting too. Let's move on to City. City really did Chelsea and Liverpool a favour this week by drawing with Southampton.
Yeah.
Sterling, second start of the season, played up front in the false nine. No Torres. What do you guys think of that?
I guess it was bound to happen. Yeah.
A lot of excitement.
Both keen to jump in.
Hito.
I was just going to say, I guess it's no surprise. The Pep rotation up there is bound to happen. You start getting a little bit comfortable with Torres up front, and then he pulls the rug out from under you. So, but interesting that Grealish kept that left wing spot, and Sterling came in for the false nine. It seemed, as opposed to his normal left wing spot. So that's showing where he likes to play Grealish this week. But I think, again, a result we didn't expect against the team they versed, Southampton.
They've been impressive actually. They've just kept a clean sheet against West Ham and then City, and with those are two prolific attacks this season. So really interesting. I'm looking forward to talking about them.
I think we'll also I was just going to say,
Sorry.
sorry, we brought on, we got KDB getting some minutes again as well as Foden.
Yeah, boy!
They also did well. They also did well in obviously that easy ass team in the cup game overnight, but involved playing, getting some goals. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let's move over to a Twitter question from our boy Mickey Martin.
Mickey Martin, how good's that name?
Yeah. What's he asking us? Because I think this is a quite interesting topic and a few listeners probably want to know the answer.
Yeah, so we've been asked about a trade. So Son and Mings for Grealish and Thiago Silva. So chuck this one in here because of the City involvement, but yeah.
Who is off? Like, is he offering Son and Mings for Grealish and Silva?
I couldn't tell from the context of the message, but let's just view it as who would you rather have, basically.
I think, Grealish and Silva maybe for me.
I'm Grealish and Silva as well for sure. I think that
yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Silva will get a bit of rotation, I think, throughout the year. But I think that will make up for the amount of clean sheets that he'll get rather than Mings. I don't think Mings will keep as many clean sheets as when Thiago Silva's in the team. And I'm not completely sold on Tottenham's attack. I think that Son's an amazing asset, but they haven't really scored a lot of goals in a few fixtures that they should have or could have. So I like the Grealish Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you there, guys.
I think that's pretty straightforward. I think Silva's really the draw card though, because I think Son for me edges Grealish, but Silva really edges Mings. Like it's he's a much better asset for me. Okay.
Good question though.
Yeah, great question. Oh, we get on to our prediction here. Now, this is a fun one. Chelsea versus City. Let's go with who thinks Chelsea will win.
I.
Yeah, unanimous.
Unanimous.
I love it. And yeah, I just think Chelsea are a very strong team, very organised, and there's not been the fluctuation in results that City have had. So,
agree.
Let's make it 4, baby.
Let's go.
All right, Man United versus Aston Villa next week. So Man United played West Ham, won 2-1, and Aston Villa played Everton and won 3-0. Now, United kind of scraped through here. This was a pretty crazy game. A lot of penalty shouts. I think Ronaldo had 3 in this game. And I'd say that 2 were I'm pretty surprised he didn't get them. And 1 was just a dive.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. The guy is, he's involved, isn't he?
He was. But mate, what about his movement for the first goal? Like just lingering offside, couple meters behind, notices, man, you get possession back, works his way back on side, and then just as soon as he's gone again for the ball. The defender had no idea.
His timing is amazing. I watched a video of him doing that when they were analysing it. And I think it was maybe Michael Owen or someone pointing it out. And it was just so obvious. But there's not a lot a defender can do to pick that up. So I think we can expect to see Ronnie tormenting plenty of defenses this year. And I think, is that a goal in every game he's played so far?
That's correct, yeah.
So no surprise there. You want Ronaldo on your team. That's good fantasy advice from FPL Draft Boys.
Yeah. And I just want to also give a shout out. Like last week, I brought up the Lingard option. And I know you guys kind of kiboshed it, and I do agree with your points on that. But, in deeper leagues, I know not in our league as a 7-man league, it's hard to have him in there when he's not starting and when there's so much competition. But I really think that, once you get to 8, 9, 10-man leagues, I think Lingard is a perfect 5th mid option, and he's probably available in a lot of leagues.
I'd say right now, yeah. While Rashford is out, there's less competition, and he is definitely going to be challenging for a spot. And, It was Lingers with a pinger this week, and man,
Oh yeah.
He was on the pingers.
that was very nice goal.
Yeah, you also got to
and-
factor in that, Rashford's going to be eased back in. It's not just he's going to be 100% fit by that time. And if
It's a shoulder injury, mate. He's straight in there. Come on.
Straight.
But even when he comes back in, boys, I
form.
think that Lingard will be coming off the bench because they're still going to want to try and get some money for him in January because his contract runs out at the end of this season.
You think they'll play him purely because they want some money for him?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, it's dead air. But at the end of the day, Man United are a business. They're traded on the the US stock exchange.
Yeah, but who's managing them? It's like they're going to come down to Ollie and go, Ollie, we need more money for Lingard. You got to play him this week. They're not fucking doing that.
Ed Woodward is the biggest businessman, apart from Michael Levy. No, Daniel.
I was like, shit. Is it Michael?
Sorry, no, I know.
That's his brother. And I tell you what, his brother's a ruthless businessman. Where do you think Danny got his money?
Isn't Ronnie the manager now anyway?
Yeah. Well, he was a fan of Linger's goal, so maybe he's getting played. Well, look, Miles, I'd agree. Look, I think he's going to be an impact sub. So
yeah. I like it as an impact fifth sub.
And we've seen him, we've seen players across the history of fantasy that have been great as impact players off the bench, and he could be a really good one. So, yeah, I can definitely see a reason for having him in your team. Okay, let's talk about Aston Villa. They won 3-0 against Everton. They beat themselves 3-0. Very impressive.
It was such a surprise result. We can't even get over the fact that Villa scored 3.
But holy shit, Matty Cash with a great goal in that game, thumping that one in. And then Bailey off the bench for, I think, a concussed McGinn, which was quite strange. And that didn't use up a sub, which was quite interesting, I thought, because it was a concussion thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, I think it's a good thing. I think that encourages them to get players off the field that need to be off the field, which is good. Anyway, Bailey assisted for the own goal with that beautiful flick on header from Diggy. I mean, he didn't really have much of a choice there. He just needed to be 3 inches taller.
Yeah, that ball was whipping in. That was an insane corner.
It was nice. And I think, and he smashed another one in for the counter to make it 3-0.
Spanked it in.
Man,
smacked it in so hard he's now on 75% fitness.
Man, he already looks crazy injury prone. He's been on 75 the whole time. I had him.
Must have pulled. It says thigh injury, so he must have pulled his hammy a bit.
I had him for the first 3 weeks. He was off and on the whole time. I was like, and then he was on, he was playing, then he was off. I was, kill me. He sounds like a nightmare for fantasy owners. But yeah, fairly quiet for Ings and Watkins in this game. I mean, Ings did get an assist, but yeah, they didn't seem crazy involved. But yeah, that being said, doesn't change how good they are as assets.
And they're playing together still. They're sticking with it. So
yeah, I think that'll likely be the pairing. Okay, so let's get a prediction here. Man United versus Aston Villa. Who's voting a United win here?
Yeah, I'm doing that. Yep.
I was going to say draw. I was going to say draw.
We said a draw for them last week and it did not pan out.
I know. You cut it close last week, but they could have had more goals. I don't know.
All right. Okay, next fixture, Everton versus Norwich. Everton lost 3-0 to Aston Villa. Shock there. And Norwich lost 3-1 against Watford.
No shock there.
Not too much of a shock there, no. So yeah, what do you guys think? Fair few chances there before conceding, hey?
I think that they really missed DCL and Richarlison. I didn't know that Richarlison was going to be injured actually before the game kicked off. Yeah. That was a bit of a surprise.
That was a last minute because, I remember looking at teams on Friday night and he was still fine. I wasn't looking at the news, but on fantasy, he was still fine.
Yeah. We were going to put him in your wild card, I remember. glad we
Yeah, I
didn't do that.
Yeah.
But
Well-
it is just a bit of a blip. With the two central strikers out, we can't give them too much grief. But still, I mean,
They've been on a good run. You're going to have
3-0, their defense
yeah.
should have covered that a bit.
And you never know. Like, yeah, look, the defense wasn't great, but Rondon will take some time to fit into that squad. He's probably going to get time next week as well. So, what better opportunity than Norwich? And I think that's probably a good segue. Norwich lost 3-1, and Pookie's really their only guy.
Yeah, it was a nice pass. It was a nice pass though, from deep to put him in.
Who was it?
That's
It was
a good question.
Norman,
yeah.
Oh, Norm.
Good old Norm.
Norms. Did he get any bones?
Any bones?
Yeah.
No bones.
Shout out to Norm MacDonald, who passed away. Great comedy legend last week. Massive loss to the SNL community.
Oh, SNL. I thought I recognised that name.
Yeah, he's great, and really sad to see him pass away. I know that we're supposed to be talking about fantasy, but I thought I'd throw that one in.
Mate, where you can, but
yeah,
I think they should have had a pen though, Norwich, don't you reckon? With that penalty charge on Rose, from Rose.
I really do agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. I was really surprised in that. But besides from that, if they can't really get much against Watford, who else are they really going to score against? So I think that we can all probably unanimously decide on this result. Who are we thinking in this one before we move off it, boys? Everton or Norwich?
Everton.
Boys in blue.
Everton.
Yeah, let's go Everton.
And defensive pickup options for this week.
Yeah, look, they'll get it on, and hopefully we get a goal from Gray. I'm putting it out.
Yeah,
he's coming back, baby.
Defensive assets, and also Rondon, I think, is just a random 1 week pickup here.
Yeah, if you can, we've got a rotating forward. Maybe our the guy we were talking about before, who was thinking of dropping Werner. Think about Rondon.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, Leeds versus West Ham. Now, Leeds drew 1-1 with Newcastle. Not a good start.
My boys.
Yeah.
Killing me.
Leeds owners must be fucking filthy right now. And West Ham lost 2-1 to United. Anyway, let's get into Leeds. Hito, you say they're your boys. Tell us, how do you feel as a fantasy owner of Leeds players?
Oh, I'm hurting, boys. I'm hurting. I've gone heavy with Leeds this year. I've got Melier in goal. I've got Harrison and Bamford. Harrison's got COVID, so hopefully...
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he's got COVID, so hopefully Dan James doesn't do anything spectacular whilst he's out to claim his spot permanently, but they're just not the team. They're obviously Newcastle are having a bit of a little okay run, but still you think it's a team Leeds should be smashing goal-wise, and they're just not creating as many as you would expect them to from last season. Second season struggles, maybe.
Yeah, look.
I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to slightly disagree with you, Hito, because I feel like they are creating, because Darlow, he saved 9 shots this game against Leeds.
That's true.
There was some fuck saves in this game. Really good saves.
That's true.
We've seen Darlow with these performances before.
He's
just
crazy.
Out of this world.
He needs to play for a big team.
And I just got to say, Leeds have got some great fixtures coming up in the next 5 or 6 games. And I think it's still a hold for me with Leeds. We know that they can come alive. And
I'd agree with that. And I think actually now is the time to push someone with a Leeds player. In this fixture where they're looking at West Ham, they might not be looking, as far ahead with the fixtures. They're looking at West Ham going, no way. And if you can kind of work a trade or something, or even just keep your eye out for people who are dropping Leeds players, because, that run of fixtures can change a team, the confidence and everything. So, I think
do it right now. ASM for Bamford.
Let's I know, Mike.
ASM for Bamford. He goes done.
I was about to say, am I going to get some messages this week, lads? But I'm getting them right now.
All right, let's talk about West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they obviously lost. Ben Rama with a pretty lucky deflected goal in this one.
Ben Rama in pajamas. Ben Rama
Yeah.
in pajamas.
Look, but he did get all three bones.
Yep.
Which, as Miles said earlier, that I'm pretty impressed. He must have done a lot of other shit in this game. Other than
He was
just a
lively.
goal.
He was really good. Yeah.
But yeah, that's earned him 3 bonus. Fabianski's probably the other shout out, really. A bit of a man of the match.
Oh, definitely.
Performance. And they looked a bit like this last season when they didn't have Antonio. They just didn't have that same sting. So I think Antonio's is he back next week from his suspension?
Yeah, he's back. He's back, baby.
And just to wrap it up, just like West Ham wrapped it up, Noble subbed on to take a penalty and it gets saved. Fuck.
I hate that strategy from
It's
managers.
terrible.
We saw it in the
Oh.
Euro finals with Southgate in England, and I just hate it. They haven't even kicked a ball and they come on to take a critical pen. That's just stupid. There was plenty of players, in my opinion, that were on the pitch that could have taken that penalty.
Yeah. Look, I agree. All right, why don't we predict this one? Leeds versus West Ham. Will Leeds continue their downward spiral? I mean, West Ham continue their downward spiral. Will Leeds come back?
I'm going draw, boys. I'm going draw.
Is Antonio's back? I'm saying a win.
I'll take draw as well.
Okay.
Oh, I want my opposition. I just think Antonio's going to come back and it changes that team.
This is going to be a 3-3, I reckon.
Antonio's going to give him a fucking hard time, that's for sure. All
I
right,
hope so.
draw. All right, go with a draw, but I'm noting my complaint.
I'm noting it. I'm noting it.
It's
note it the fuck down because I want to be able to
It's
go next week when you're wrong. I'll just be like, boys.
It's footnoted, boys. Footnoted.
I love it. Okay. Now we've got Leicester versus Burnley. Leicester played Brighton and lost 2-1, and Burnley played Arsenal and lost 1-0. Yeah, interesting for this one. Leicester really kind of strangely struggling against Brighton.
They were, but I can only think about one thing, boys.
Goal of the season.
Yeah, what, that Vardy team goal?
Oh my lord!
It was fucking good. And
One
then no
touch
reaction
football.
from him. Like Vardy just runs, grabs the ball, just gets back on with it. He's like, that was nothing. We do that on the training ground every day.
Oh.
How many goal of the seasons do you reckon Vardy has been nominated for? Because he just scores bangers for fun.
Oh my God.
But just the one touch football. It was about 3 passes in a row that were all one touch. It was just pure sex.
Mm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it was
great
very
game.
nice. And it was a great finish. Yeah. I think the ball was in from Tielemans. Started from Pereira, though, who's really the big asset there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Barnes, guys? We need to talk about him.
Yeah,
We do.
we've actually got a listener question. What are we doing with Harvey Barnes? It was
sweet.
from Cowtown Casulas on Twitter.
I think that's pronounced casuals, mate.
I thought you'd like that one.
Casulas. That's amazing. Look, Miles, I can give you a bit of slack here because it is in a red font, which isn't good for us colorblind people. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty funny. Cowtown Casulas. Look, we'll give him the
I'm a
correct
casualty
shout
here,
out.
boys. I'm a casualty.
Yeah. Cowtown Casuals. So the question here was, what are we doing with Harvey Barnes?
I told you I only got 50% in my HSC, boys.
You know what, Hito, you should be getting these guys to tell us is how big their league is. Like, it'd be great to know how big their league is because, I mean, Harvey at this point, you got to consider him as a potential kind of swap out from, another good performing player, right?
Well, that'd have to be a surprise good performing player, I think.
You reckon?
Well,
What's he done this season?
nothing. 5 games and 0 goals, 0 assists played, ranging from 63 to 90 minutes.
Every
He's only-
game?
Yeah, he's only played one full 90 minutes. He's been subbed off on all other 4 games.
What are the Leicester's fixtures coming up?
Burnley, Palace, United, Brentford, Arsenal.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Not great.
What? What was it?
I-
Burnley, Palace?
Yeah.
United,
what?
Brentford, Arsenal.
I only see
Yeah,
one
okay.
team in there. That's actually
Okay,
a pretty good
yes.
run. Like they can handle all of those teams. So
That's true. It's just Leicester hasn't really impressed me. And when you say a surprising asset, I would be probably holding until Brentford get through this really, really bad run, and then if Mbeumo is available, I'd be jumping on him. And we'll talk about him later in the pod. But look, Leicester just really hasn't done it for me this year, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm not even soft. Like I'm not even middle ground with them.
yeah, I think of their Leicester. They can come back. Fuck COVID, by the way.
Mm.
I think if you've got a great midfield and he's the one player not doing anything for you, and you want to jump on someone who's maybe form and is your rotation spot, but
I just look at those fixtures and I know that any team on their day can kind of have that spike in form, and it'd be crazy to me to drop him coming into Burnley. Like it's still the start of the season, and he's playing every game. So I mean, I know I'm going back on myself a bit here from saying trade him from the bench, but with those fixtures and the position he's kind of playing in that team, if there's any time for them to figure out what's going on, it's now. So I would, yeah, as Hito said, if you feel like you can hold on to him and he's like the lowest performing player in your team, then yeah, sure. But if you've got bigger fish to fry, get out there and get him.
Oh,
I think that's
bit
perfect.
of fish and chips option, huh?
Well, I just said fish, but you can add chips, bit of vinegar on there. But yeah, I think Leicester's got a great run. So coming up.
And then I guess just to roll on from that, I had an Insta question. It was just about holding or dropping or trading Maddison.
I think they're quite similar questions, to be honest, because they're both sitting in the 120 to 130, 40 mark for the last 2 seasons, and they're both in the same spot where they're starting most games, but they've not produced anything this season. So I think you could just copy and paste that answer.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And that question was from Aeon Hatch. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it right. So shouts out to my boy Kasulis.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, my brother.
Yeah, look, I kind of agree. I mean, I just say that Maddison is who he is as well, and he's probably not playing as an attacking role as Barnes. So I don't know. Slightly less good option than Barnes, in my opinion. Okay, Burnley. Fuck, not much to say here, boys. I saw, pretty little to really kind of comment on here. Barnes was in there once, and it is Arsenal. Like, fuck, I feel like Burnley could have taken him.
Yeah,
I agree. They've got slightly okay fixtures coming up, besides the Leicester and Man City game, but still with Southampton doing what they're doing. They just don't really look great going forward, and that Burnley defense that we have loved in previous seasons just hasn't been there. So I'm just telling our listeners to stay clear of Burnley assets, just like Norwich at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we could probably press on to predicting this one. All those for Leicester say aye.
I'm gonna say aye, even though they haven't been impressed, but they've got to do something against Burnley. Come on.
Yeah, I'd agree.
They have
I'd
to.
agree. Harvey Barnes this week. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah. If there's a time, mate, there's a time.
Yeah, this is it.
It's now.
This is it. All right.
Hopefully for Kasulis, yeah.
Boys, what? Watford versus Newcastle is our next one. Watford won 3-1 against Norwich, and Newcastle drew 1-1 against Leeds. Let's start with the header from Dennis.
Oh,
The menace. Yeah.
almost as good as the celebration.
What was the celebration? I missed it.
He did a cheeky little cartwheel flip. Very impressive.
I've seen those before.
But that cross in for the header though was just that amazing whipped in ball.
It was
from
nice.
near the byline, and he just manhandled the defenders to get there first. He was hungry AF.
I'm just like kind of shocked, to be honest. I was not expecting the goals we've seen from Watford this year. Like everything I'd heard about Watford last season was that they were super defensive. And we've seen, quite a few goals from them. I mean, just in games I wouldn't have even expected. So I think I've probably underestimated them in some way. But yeah, what kind of fixtures do we have coming up?
They're not.
A bit of a mixed bag. They've got Newcastle, Leeds, Liverpool, Everton, Southampton. So I think most fixtures are going to be tough, but
yeah, look, I'd agree with that. But I mean, I think Sarr is a standout with 2 goals in this game. If he's not grabbed in your league, grab him. I'm sure he's gone though. He's got 3 bones this week.
Yeah, Hito and I actually had a conversation about Sarr, and I think Hito, you should tell the listeners what you were discussing about the Sarr goals.
Yeah, I just thought they weren't crazy impressive. So the first one was not too bad with the ball in from King at the near post and Sarr in a good position to tap him. But his second, we just kind of pounced on a rebound. So his positioning's all right, but we got to remember it's against Norwich, who have just been a shambles this season. So I feel like people might be, their eyes might light up at him as an option. And it sometimes does pay off to jump on someone who just bags a double, but I'm just, caution.
Yeah, look, he's got 1 other goal this season. So yeah, I think my memory of his performances were maybe blown out by this 2 goals. But yeah, I mean,
he is on pens, but as Hito said as well, how many pens are Watford really going to get as well? So I think it's with a grain of salt, but I think if you've got space as, a 4th or 5th mid, you just get him.
Yeah, the bigger leagues will have space.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, let's talk about Newcastle. They played Leeds, 1-1 draw. For Saint-Maximin, far out, man. He does look... We talked about him so much last season, and he always looks to excite. And he just never quite finished, or he never quite scored, and he wasn't really a great fantasy asset. And we were all waiting for that moment where, like, all of a sudden he started scoring. And it feels like we might be here.
Maybe. And especially if there's any time is when Wilson is out. Just because he kind of heads that line a little bit more centrally than when he does when Wilson's on. So I don't think Newcastle have heaps of assets, but if there is one asset that's available and it's ASM, jump on him. We've been shouting him out for a few weeks, and this could be the start of something massive for him.
Yeah, got a nice run too.
And look, they're creating chances. Meslier made 6 saves in this game. But that, as we said before, we should shout out Darlow, who had a cracker of a game and 9 saves. Truly impressive, really. I think he got all 3 bones as well.
He did get the bones, yeah.
He got the bones. But yeah, I think that you've got to shout out how good he is. Why don't we talk about predictions?
I'm going draw, boys. I don't know about you, but I feel a draw.
I was going to say Newcastle.
I'm going to agree with Hito.
Okay. I think that could happen.
Man, anything could happen in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a tough one.
Really get a win here.
This is one of the toughest ones, I think.
Yeah, that's a really hard one to predict.
That's why I just went with draw, boys. I just thought that, there's going to be a couple of goals of each team. Defenses are open.
It was soft.
I'd love to try and convince you guys to go draw. If I can get one person across the line.
No. Mate, we don't have time for you to convince me to do anything. That could take you.
All right.
Brentford versus Liverpool. Brentford won 2-0 against Wolves, and Liverpool won 3-0 against Palace.
Mm.
Yeah, Tony.
Big
Yeah.
tone.
It was
love
very
it.
lively. Obviously, takes the pen, slots
Yeah.
it away calmly. But I think the second goal should get all the plaudits.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
Mbuemo's goal.
Yeah, but also the pass in was nice too. Obviously.
Yeah, that was
really
nice.
good.
Bad defending from Wolves, but still.
They're matching up
And I
pretty
think-
well, those boys, Tony and Mbuemo.
They hit the back of the net 4 times, I think, in the first half, but only 2 of them counted. So that's something to look at as well for Brentford. But they do have a terrible run of fixtures starting now. So
Yeah.
I think it's a hard time to pick up, someone like Mbeumo, who's a midfielder who's playing in a front 2, which we've seen for the whole season.
I didn't realize how far up he played.
Yeah,
Mm.
he's in there all the time.
Honestly, I knew he was. Yeah,
I think because Tony's this kind of player that he's fast, but he's big, but he's strong enough to play some hold-up play. So I think he's probably laying the ball off to Mbeumo a fair bit, and they're really working off each other nicely.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see those two pairing up pretty well. They seem like a good strike pair. So yeah, those two boys are the real standouts from that team. Otherwise, there's not really many fantasy options that really jump out at me.
I think that if you can hold out until game week 10 and Mbeumo is still available, they got a really good run of fixtures for Burnley, Norwich, then Newcastle, and I think that'd be a perfect opportunity. So just set a reminder, do what Whitey does, just because he's got a memory like a fish, and just be on it.
Yeah, I do. My memory's terrible.
For the week before game week 10. So once you get into that game week 8 waiver, if you've got a space, jump on Mbeumo.
Oh, big words from Miles there. Okay, Liverpool 3-0. Peter, nice game.
it was. It was a little bit nervy earlier on, but just
with that save from fucking Allison.
Oh, the backtracking. Jesus,
oh my god.
I had got a little bit of sweat on during.
Mate, it reminded me of the acceleration of Joe Hart back in the day. Remember that fucking one where he just you're like, who is that? It's like, oh, that's Joe Hart, just fucking gunning it back. That was crazy.
That's a flashback and a half.
But he showed a bit of turn of pace there to get back.
Yeah, he did. They looked threatening to start with, but we held out, and that's it was really good. And then it finally came through with sneaking in some goals. So
sneaking them in, yeah. Well, that was pretty nice. I mean, Salah had a great goal there. He just seems unstoppable at the moment. And Mane scored his 100th Premier League goal for Liverpool.
Yep, tapping in a saved header from Salah. So
as much as he doesn't seem to be your favourite player at the moment, he's still getting some goals. So
yep, yeah, he's still creeping in with some. He's got good positioning still. So
he's got good positioning still. So he's got that going for him. Yeah. But other than that,
his touch is terrible.
Well, why don't we talk? What about Keita? That wasn't a bad. That was pretty good.
No, that was cheeky.
Goal of the season.
Really? I didn't think it was.
Weak foot volley.
Was it weak foot? Oh, that does make it better.
Had to just throw it out there.
Oh, look, it was a pretty good goal. It was a cracker. And, no real relevance to fantasy, but yeah. I think Liverpool's defense are looking very solid. They've got basically the same kind of results as Chelsea have. Maybe slightly easier fixtures, but still, obviously Liverpool defense is really looking good this year. Yeah,
it was tough with some rotation this week though. Tsimikas coming in for Robbo, and Konate getting a debut, and Milner filling in for Trent. So
yeah.
I think you'll see more of the left back rotation. So if you can pick that, if Robbo has a few games in a row, including other competitions, I would keep an eye on that for Tsimikas because he looks good. He takes corners, etc. So,
okay, let's predict this one. All those in favour of Liverpool?
I.
I hate doing that. Well, last week I didn't vote for Liverpool. I think I voted for Palace, and we all
Yeah,
saw
you
how
did.
that went. So
Yeah, we did.
this week I'll go with the
We do.
favourite. Okay, Southampton versus Wolves. Southampton drew 0-0 with City, and Wolves lost 2-0 to Brentford.
Mm,
I think this
Yeah.
has got 0-0 written all over it, boys.
This game,
me
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
Me
look, it
too.
probably does, eh? Like, I mean, Armstrong looked lively. He has a lot though, but that's an amazing result for City. I think they didn't
huge.
get a shot on target until like the 90th minute, which is insane.
Yeah,
It just
they
gives you
looked
an
really
idea
good.
of how good their defense has been. And yeah, on top of that, they've got a good run of fixtures coming up. So I think actually Southampton defensive options actually do look good. And one that stood out to me was Livramento.
Yeah, he's been quite good.
Yeah, well, he gets forward. He gets, he's obviously kind of playing in a right back / wing back role. He's really getting high up the pitch, and we'll see what happens in these easier fixtures. We'll see if he can maybe get on the score sheet or assists, and yeah, maybe get a few cleanies.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, Wolves. Miles, give us a rundown. You're the only unbiased person here because you don't have Wolves players.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that Marcel completely forgot which code he was playing in. I think he thought he was playing a rugby union match because he completely rugby tackled, to create that pen.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It was ridiculous. I remember watching it live with Hito, and we were just thinking, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, that was great.
That was horrendous.
Well,
I will say
Traore. Oh yeah, sorry, I was going to say Traore off the crossbar.
Yeah,
Oh,
Traore owners, I feel for you because his goal expected this season is so high, but he still hasn't found the back of the net. But I did feel that in this game that he was actually shooting a lot better. He usually just bangs it over the crossbar, but I think that he's done a lot of finishing training and he is trying to keep it down a bit. So I wouldn't be giving up on him just yet because they still do have that great run of fixtures. But yeah, it's hard, man.
Well, let's round this out with talking about Wolves' defense because the run of fixtures is still good. Their defense had been pretty solid up until this point. Do we stick with our defensive options, Hito, or do we ditch them?
well, I think for myself, I've got 3 of them, so I have a bit of room to maybe drop one of them. But I'm still going to hold true just because I think Southampton have shown not a lot going forward. And just the fixtures just are too interesting to see how they play out. They've obviously not kept a lot of clean sheets, but only 1 clean sheet so far, but they've not conceded many.
Yeah, nice. Okay, now, let's get a prediction for this one. Southampton versus Wolves. All those for a
I
draw,
like a draw.
say aye.
I
Aye. Yeah.
Draw,
You said
draw.
yeah, mate. Jeez, you got to say aye. All part of it.
thrown out of court, throw them out.
Throw them out. I put myself in contempt. I hold myself in contempt. Okay. Arsenal versus Tottenham.
Wow, what a fixture.
Yeah, love this one. Love it. And they're both like coming off the back. Like Arsenal's picking up a bit, Tottenham's dropping off a bit. It's going to be great. Arsenal won 1-0 against Burnley. Tottenham lost 3-0 against Chelsea. Wow, Odegaard. That was a pretty nice free kick.
Really
It was
good.
nice. It wasn't top bins, but it was nice.
But from that close, it doesn't have to be top bins. It just
True.
has to be over the wall. And you see so many people hit the wall in that situation. So
True.
you got to give him full credit there. That he got it up and over, and yeah, it was a nice goal. And I think from a fantasy perspective, he's clearly the one on free kicks, which kind of gives him maybe the edge against maybe Smith Rowe, if you were comparing the two. Because they're kind of similar this year, playing in similar kind of positions. So
Definitely.
I think for me, maybe Odegaard is edging Smith Rowe at the moment, especially with free kicks. And yeah, obviously those fixtures are still looking good. So either or, Odegaard or Smith Rowe, if they're available, I think maybe isn't time to start looking at them.
Yeah, I like that.
100%. Before we move on to our listener question, we just got to say that Ramsdale in goal again. So I think that he's probably going to be available in quite a few leagues if they're not on it already. So I think that's a good option for maybe not this fixture, but they still have good fixture run after this fixture.
Yeah, of
They
course.
do, yeah.
I think, and we got a question for this, don't we? Listener question.
Mm.
Asking if Lacquer is worth holding. I'm going to say...
Legend that is Sean Curtis, I've got in my notes here.
Yeah, good old Shawnee. He reaches out to us quite a few times on Twitter, so...
Oh, does he? Love you,
Got to-
Sean.
Got to help a boy out.
Full shout out to
Shout
Sean.
out to Q Retitus.
What?
What are you on, mate? Oh, God, he's bloody doing his shit again. All right,
Just joking,
Lacquer
just
worth
joking.
holding. Look,
Speaking another language.
I honestly haven't even been looking at Lacazette this season. So he's got 1 point. Is he been injured?
No, he's a drop for me, boys. I don't think that it's worth holding on at this point. And just kind of like what we were saying with the Werner thing, I don't think many people are going to be jumping on it. So, I mean, maybe just drop if there's someone like a Morpay or ASM, like we've mentioned, available.
There's actually a few strikers this year. Like there's more than there normally is, it feels like, especially in our 7-man
100%.
league. There are still some ones worth picking up. So I don't know. I feel like, at this point, you're definitely taking a look at other options because I think Lacquer wanted to move and didn't get it.
He did.
And maybe Arteta's kind of just going, well, maybe there's something going on there. But
as previously mentioned,
think,
we could do a Rondon pickup for Lacquer straight away for this week.
Yeah, that would be
100.
an easy decision. And I think there's still a couple more strikers that we'll even name coming up. But yeah, let's talk about Tottenham. Fuck.
We called it, lads.
Did we call 3-0?
Or we just called they're up for a heavy beating. So.
Oh, really? I wish we said the result.
I thought it was going to be more.
Yeah, look, I mean, the first half, Tottenham played very well. Like, they came so hard at Chelsea, and the tactic was clearly to press the fuck out of us and try and score early, which, honestly, it nearly worked. They had a couple of good chances, and, like, that first half, you felt the pressure, and it was a great game. Chelsea were definitely playing more on the counter-attack. But... yeah, they just couldn't make it work. The finishing wasn't quite there, as Miles said. The attack's not been as good. And I just think, they just ran out of gas completely. And it was so obvious. And Ndombele had to be subbed because he was just fucking gassed in that game. So if they're going to keep trying to come at big teams like that, their finishing has to be better. And they've got to get those goals in that time.
Yeah, and for Kane owners, I'd say that he loves a goal against Arsenal. So if there's one fixture that you'd probably rely on, the good old Kane, I feel like this is it.
I think Sonny and Kane, this is their week to get back to it. There's nothing like getting whooped by Chelsea to make Tottenham get pissed off.
Yeah, fired up for the North London.
Why don't we let that lead us into our prediction here? Tottenham versus Arsenal. Who's voting? I'm going to swing the other way here. Who's going for Tottenham here? Who thinks Tottenham will win? Say I.
Okay, interesting.
I'm gonna say a draw for me.
I'm feeling a draw as well. I can't pick one.
Yeah.
Can you note my disagreement, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
Noted.
Footnoted.
I don't think you're footnoting shit, mate.
Mate, have a fucking look at the spready, mate.
I don't see it. Oh, Whitey with Tot. I see it. Yeah, good. All right, last one, lads. We got Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Crystal Palace lost 3-0 to Liverpool. Brighton won 2-1 against Leicester.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Crystal Palace.
Look, they had a lively start. I'll give it to them.
Yeah.
Chances for Zaha, Benteke heading wide off the post. I think he got called for offside, but I thought that was a bit unfair. And
Yeah.
a couple of other chances.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
Edouard did mess up a touch and a chance to make it 1-1. But he does look really interesting to me. Like, he just gives them something else. And again, he didn't start, but Palace look a bit different with him on. I don't know, Hito, from your perspective, what did you think of him?
Yeah, he's definitely more threatening. Obviously, Benteke has the set piece threat, but besides that, I didn't find him too threatening outside that. So we'll see him eased in. It's a tough fixture for them. So
I think this will be the week. This will be the week he starts.
I think he could.
I agree.
That's my guess. Okay, Brighton. Now, this is a big game. I only really learnt this recently, that Palace versus Brighton is massive.
Yeah, man,
They've got a
it's
huge
so big.
rivalry. I was watching the When Eagles Dare doco on Amazon, which is awesome. Highly recommend. But yeah, it's such a big game. So I'm expecting something fiery here. Now, Brighton won 2-1 against Leicester. I mean, they were performing, game after game, not getting a lot of goals, but grinding out results. And yeah, I think, is it too early to say I called it?
No, you can call it. You can call it.
We'll give it to you.
Well, as I was saying, Brighton, they drew a lot of games last year, and if they could just kind of work on their, grinding out these results a bit better, there'd be a massive swing in their actual results. And it seems to have happened so far. I mean, it's only 5 games, but they've they've drawn and beaten against some good teams. So
I think there's heaps of pickups, boys. I think that Trossard is a pickup. I think Welbeck's going to be available. I think he's a pickup.
He's back and he got a goal.
Yeah.
And Morpay seems to be getting a bit more solid this year.
I think that's 3 goals for him so far, isn't it? I think he scored back-to-back weeks, and then he went quiet for a couple.
That's classic.
He scored first week, second week, and now this week, 5th week. So 3 goals.
Yeah, I think... I think there's definitely some assets.
Yeah, Duffy is another one. We've mentioned him before, and he just kind of keeps performing. He's on 27 points overall, and this week he got an assist. 5 points. So he just his points have been 2, 14, 1, 5, 5. And for a defender, for a Brighton defender, that's fucking good, especially against So they played Burnley, Watford, Everton, Brentford, Leicester. Okay, so they haven't had the craziest fixtures, but momentum is everything, boys. So why don't we predict this one?
Oh, I'm not looking forward to this one.
I'm gonna say a draw.
I just have this feeling that Brighton will edge it at the moment, just because they've just been pretty solid as a team. So I'm going with Brighton. I think 2-1 to Brighton.
I think Palace.
Did you say a draw, Peter?
No, I said draw. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We're at a tiebreaker.
Do we do? You got to convince the other guy.
We haven't discussed this.
Why do you think Palace will win?
I think that I think that they were semi-impressive against a team like Liverpool, and they've really impressed me for the rest of the season. They had a bad start, but since then I think they've been getting really good. Gallagher and Edouard. But
semi-impressive versus impressive. Brighton have been impressive, not semi-impressive.
You know why I'm going with it, boys? It's just because of that home fixture at Selhurst Park, and that fucking place bounces, man. It bounces.
Hito, are you convinced?
Am I getting there?
Yeah, they are at home. I don't know. I just feel a little bit. They could cancel each other out. Let me have a quick look at their home.
Oh fuck! I'm not waiting for Hito to fuck. I'll go Palace.
You know what?
I'll go Palace.
I'll go draw.
Oh, you'll go draw.
Oh, God. I'll go
Palace.
All
right, boys. It's a draw. It's a draw.
Okay, let's go draw. Right.
I'm not saying it's a draw, but you boys are.
Yeah, you like being out the outlier this week, mate.
I'd like to be my foot. Can I have my footnote put in, please?
Yeah, permanently in.
All right.
I'm just putting Whitey as a noob.
What a week, boys. I think this is going to be an interesting one for fantasy. I think this will probably be a bigger week for points. The fixtures are a bit kinder. There's a massive one, 9:30 game in Australia, City versus Chelsea. I'm pumped. You boys?
Oh, so pumped.
And you got Man U Villa on at the same time.
Oh, they're on
Double
the exact
screening.
same time. Oh,
Yeah.
double screen.
Double screen.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for another week, boys. Good luck to all those people out there.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Send
Hit
us those
up.
questions. Yeah, we love the questions. You know, like we really like helping you guys out.
Yeah, hit us up on Insta, Twitter, whatever. Hito's all over the Discord. He's very Discordian. Yeah, FPL